Welcome, Jericho voters. This is being filmed on July 9th of 2024, and early voting has already started for the August 13th state primary election in Vermont. For Jericho, our polling place is Mount Mansfield Union High School, which is located at 211 Browns Trace, and the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024. Early voting, if you want to come to the Jericho Town Clerk's office, that's at 67 Vermont Route 15, you can come in person and we can actually hand you your ballots. Early ballots, you can either take them home with you or you can vote them in the office. And we have a tin inside the office of the town clerk's office that once you've voted your ballot, you can put it in the tin. If you want to request the ballots by mail, they'll come to you, and we have new envelopes this year, and so it will look like this with the blue stripe on the outside. So this is the ballot coming to you in the mail. You'll notice when you open the ballot that the envelope, it will have 3 envelopes and 3 ballots inside. So this is the state primary, which is very different from the March elections or the November general election. In the state primary, it's actually 3 elections happening at once. There's the Progressive Party, the Democratic Party, and the Republican Party. So you're going to be mailed all 3 ballots, because in Vermont, we don't register by party. You can choose which party ballot you want to vote in the state primary. So when you get the ballot in the mail, it's going to have 3 envelopes and 3 ballots inside. This is the envelope that you're going to mail it back to the Jericho Town Clerk's office in. And the other 2 envelopes, one says voted ballot envelope and the other says unvoted ballot envelope. So everyone will get 3 ballots. You choose which party primary you want to participate in. There is Progressive, Democratic, and Republican. They all have the same offices on them, but there's different candidates on each ballot. And in some instances, there's no candidate running for the position. And in that case, you can write a candidate in, or you can leave that race blank. There's not a requirement that you have to complete the ballot in totality for your vote to count. You can just choose which races that you want to vote in. So Jericho and Underhill's ballots look very alike. The only difference is in Jericho, it will say Jericho in this top corner. But Jericho and Underhill share the same state representatives, and we can elect 2 reps. So state rep is the second to the last race, and in that case, at the top it says vote for 2. If you only want to vote for 1, that's okay. That vote will be counted. Or you could vote for 1 candidate that's printed on the ballot and then 1 write-in. You could do 2 write-ins. Or you can vote for both candidates that are on the ballot. And then new this year with state senator, we used to elect 6 state senators because we were part of a large district of all of Chittenden County. Now we're in a smaller district and we can only elect 3 state senators. So on the Democratic ballot, there are 4 candidates for 3 positions. The Progressive Party does not have any candidates for state senator, and the Republican ballot has 1 candidate for state senator. So just to run through the offices that are on the ballot, these are all statewide offices except for some that are related to Chittenden County and some that are related to just our Jericho Underhill state representative legislative district. So the first race on the ballot is U.S. Senator. So that is our representative to the U.S. Senate, and we can only vote for 1. And then representative to Congress, there's also 1 spot open. For governor, there is one spot open, and lieutenant governor, there is one spot open. So Vermont is unique because we're not voting or we're not registered by party. It's actually possible to vote one person for governor, and then it might be a different party who's the lieutenant governor. So they don't run on the same ticket like we do with president and vice president. That is voted as one block. So state treasurer, there is one candidate, or there's one, we can vote for one candidate. Secretary of State, we can vote for one candidate. Auditor of accounts, attorney general, and state senator, as I said, our district, we can elect 3 to the state senate, and then we can elect 2 state representatives to the House. And high bailiff is interesting. Right now, there are no candidates on the ballot on any of the 3 parties for high bailiff, so that will just be a write-in vote. There may be a candidate that declares their candidacy now that the ballots are printed, and so it may be a legitimate write-in. And what we're doing for August 13th is we're choosing who's going to make it to the November ballot. November 5th is the general election. Those ballots will be mailed automatically to all active voters on the checklist. So when you get your November 5th ballot in the mail, it will have all parties on the same ballot. So it will only be one ballot that you'll have to vote. With the state primary ballots, you're going to choose which party ballot you want to vote. It's okay if you mark all of the ballots, but once you choose which one you want to count, that's going to go in the voted ballot envelope. And so only one ballot can go in this envelope, and the voter must sign this signature envelope for the ballot to count. So you're not signing your name on the ballot itself, just on the envelope that your ballot's going to go in. And then you're going to be, so say we vote this ballot, it will go inside the voted ballot envelope. You would seal it, and then you would sign your name, and there's also a space for you to print your name, and you can print the date, and I would include the year on there. Sometimes with the mail, we get ballots back later than intended, and so there has been times when we received ballots that were from a previous election. So the voted ballots in here, the 2 ballots that you don't want to count, those are going to go inside the unvoted ballot envelope. So there's less writing on this envelope. You do need to put both ballots in. So I have 1 in the voted ballot envelope and 2 in the unvoted ballot envelope. These envelopes can be sealed, and then they will go in the return envelope back to Jericho. Once you have signed and sealed the signature envelope and then put the ballots inside this envelope, it can be mailed, or anyone can bring the ballot back for you. If you are coming to the polls, or if a family member is coming to the polls, they can bring the ballot on election day and drop it off at the polls, but it will stay inside the envelope, and there'll be a separate ballot tin for absentee envelopes. If you're returning the ballot early to the town office, we ask that if you can do it the weekend, by the weekend before the election, so August 13th is the election, if you can do it that previous Saturday or Sunday before the Tuesday election, that's helpful to the town clerk's office so that we can just check that a ballot has been returned for the voter, And that way, when we print the voter checklist for Tuesday election day, the early absentee ballots that have been returned, the name of the voter will already be pre-checked on the voter checklist. So that makes it much easier for election officials. So it can be mailed, someone can drop it off, you can drop it off, or there's a ballot box outside the Jericho Town Hall. If you're looking at the Jericho Town Hall steps, it's up at the top of the steps next to the Town Hall door, and it's a ballot drop-off box that's available 24/7. It's a locked box. There also is a ramp that goes around to the side, so you can get to the top of the stairs using the ramp to drop off the ballot in the drop box. That's available 24/7. The last day that you can possibly request an early ballot would be the day before the election, Monday, August 12th. The town office will be open until 4 p.m., so you can either call and have the ballot mailed to you, or if it's that late in the game, you probably want to stop by to pick it up. You can only pick up your own ballot. You can request for a family member, but it will have to be mailed to them. And there is also the opportunity to vote in the office. You can come, make a request for an early ballot, fill it out at the town office. You'll still have to use these envelopes, and it will go in this outside envelope, and then we have a tin that's inside the town office that you can use to cast your ballot. I think that's really all the information I have. I look forward to seeing you at the polls, and or you have the opportunity to vote early, and let's hope that Jericho gets 100% voter participation. Take care.